December 3rd, 1984 at night. In Bhopal, the state capital of Madhya Pradesh, India. Almost 9 lakh people were inside their houses during this chilly night. In a chemical facility in the same city, employees are taking a tea break. There is a disturbance in the factory all of a sudden about 1 o'clock. In reality, a factory tank is leaking an extremely toxic gas. Dead bodies of humans and animals may be observed on every street and road in this metropolis at the break of this horrible night. Some people slept peacefully in their beds at home, while others raced and coughed through the streets before entering the Valley of the Dead. How did the worst industrial accident in Indian history occur? How did it leak and what kind of gas was it? What happened? How many people perished and who caused this tragedy? Learn about that night's tragic story in the video we are watching right now.
Dear friends, we already know the history of this accident before we ever learn about it. The Indian government chose to get into partnership with foreign businesses and extend invitations for them to open offices in India in the 1960s. An American chemical manufacturer made a proposal to India, which one met some of India's requirements before being accepted. This business was called Union Carbide Corporation or UCC. The name of this company, Union Carbide India Limited, that is UCIL, was 22% shares of this company were also owned by the Indian government.
Because of the drought in India in the 1980s, crop production drastically decreased. Consequently, there was less of a necessity for pesticides. The farmers' financial circumstances made it impossible for them to purchase insecticides for their crops. UCIL was also impacted by this issue. Due to the sharp decline in semen sales, the plant's semen production was significantly decreased in 1984. Even the idea of shutting the plant down was floated. Semen was no longer manufactured here a few months afterwards. The extra MIC gas that was used to manufacture it was still kept here though. For storage, there were 3 tanks. Each tank had a 68,000 liter storage capacity. Only half of these tanks could be filled at a time. Aside from the fact that it is legal to own firearms in the United States, there are other factors that should be considered.
So that the pressure is kept constant and the pipe can be used to force the liquefied MIC gas out as a result of this pressure. But sometimes went wrong in one of the tanks a few days before to the catastrophe. As a result, nitrogen could not be added to it. As a result, the MIC could no longer be removed from the tank because there was not enough pressure. Dear friends, this tank was filled with 42,000 liters of MIC gas, despite the fact that MIC has a standard capacity. This gas was now a menace to the entire city of Bhopal. The fault of this tank was attempted to be fixed on December 1st, 1984, but was unsuccessful.
Friends, this tank was still broken on December 2nd, 1984. The 42,000 liters of gas in it constituted a threat. However, the plant's workforce was unaware of how bad the issue was. Reports state that water entered the tank on December 2 evening. Actually, water was used to clean the pipes next to this tank. Some sources claim that a worker had long since permitted this water to remain open. This water has begun to react with liquid MIC gas. Friends, due to this reaction, the pressure within the tank increased 5 times more than usual by night. Even some employees picked up on this change, but for them, a small gas leak was nothing unusual. Additionally, it is said that the employees took a tea break at that time. Between December 2nd and 3rd, it was midnight. The time was 1. While drinking tea, the industrial worker began to experience eye irritation. Their throat hurts and they were having trouble in breathing at the same time.
The factory had 2 different emergency alarm systems. One was for the plant's employees, the second was to alert the general public. But the fact that both of these alarms were defective was the height of negligence. The tank's safety valve also sustained damage. The gas was spreading around the city as it emerged from the plant in the shape of clouds. The workers began leaving the plant when things spiraled out of control because they realized they had no control over what was happening. The 20th century had seen one of the most severe industrial accidents and the deadliest industrial tragedy in Indian history.
Within an hour, 30,000 liters of gas were released from the tank. When their eyes began to burn, the civilian populace became aware of this leaking. The throat began to ache. It was also challenging to breathe. A woman claimed that her home's windows were allowing gas clouds to enter. People began to flee their homes in terror. There was a sense of impending dread everywhere in the streets. As they ran, people coughed. Their vision was deteriorating. The Bhopal hospitals had no way to handle such significant accidents. Their medical team and staff members lacked any instruction on how to deal with such circumstances or prevent harmful gas. In this commotion, the entire night passed. It was discovered in the morning that this night had sucked roughly 15,000 residents of this city whole. Following the spill, people were left lying all over the streets, and 42,000 gallons of gas in the community. Even animals were exposed to this gas, and plants were withered by this gas.
This accident claimed the life of roughly 20,000 individuals, while just 6 lakh people were badly injured. As a result of this tragedy, survivors developed respiratory problems, cancer, and blindness. Some infants are still born here unusually today. The same catastrophe case made headlines once more in 2010, when the District Court of Bhopal found 7 Indian engineers at the factory guilty, including the chairman of Union Carbide India, Keshav Mahendra, who was also involved, received a 2-year prison sentence.
After this catastrophe, India changed its industrial rules extremely swiftly. Because of this, lives of both industrial workers and residents of the surrounding area were somewhat protected compared to earlier. Moreover, environmental laws were strengthened. With the implementation of these steps, foreign investors' faith in India was somewhat restored. Friends, an effort was made to clean the entire area following the catastrophe. However, a report from 2019 claims that there are still 400 tons of hazardous chemicals in this area that pose a threat to the city's residents.
Because of the chemicals, the subterranean water in this area is unfit for consumption. The vicinity of this facility is uninhabitable, as the Indian government has also acknowledged. But no action has been made in this regard. The residents of Bhopal have not forgotten this disaster even after 38 years. There are still many people who are blind and afflicted with various illnesses. Children born here have a handicap of some sort. For their rights, these people have frequently raised their voices, even though numerous human rights organizations have come here, but the situation is still not ideal.
Hope you enjoyed today's video.
That's it for today.
Bye for now.